What's up, Patriots? March 15th, 2024. Can't even keep track of how many days it's been since our Republican majority in the House has left us hanging. Kind of ridiculous once you think about it. Hey, Dead Bye. You beat me this time. Alright, I'm heading into downtown Lancaster, and I think what we're going to do is just go through a couple memes while we're walking here. Wait till people get in. A couple blocks away from the library. I'm heading to the library. I want to head out and find out where the city council offices are. Made a lot of phone calls. There's a lot going on. So remember, I'm telling you about how God lays out a path for you all the time. Interesting story. My van hasn't been running in, I don't know, a week. I started wrenching on it, then I got busy with other things. Then I found out our prison budget's $100 million higher than they just said, and they already gave the go-ahead to keep it going. And then Lancaster decided to become a sanctuary city. Oh, and then there was the Amos Miller, the Pennsylvania government coming after Amish farmer Amos Miller. What else? Oh, and then we decided to have drag queen story hour here in Lancaster. So you guys gotta see this. So anyways, I've been fighting the federal government since March of 2022. Ran out of money. Some pretty buildings here. Ran out of money, ran into trouble in DC, decided to get out of there for a while. I'm just jonesing to go back here. But lack of money, driving a 26-year-old van around all the time. You know, I'm not the guy that can be doing that right now. Other patriots have stepped up. They are doing it right now. And I'm stuck here in Lancaster. In the meantime, the state government decides to attack people I like. Now the local government decides to attack people I like. And we're surrounded. We're absolutely surrounded, Patriots. This is the Cloward-Piven strategy. They just crash everything. And they got it all happening right now. So I'm sitting out in the van today. Plotting my strategy for the day, trying to get the live stream going somewhere, decide what to talk about. Finally come up with a plan. I decide, all right, God's put a lot on my plate here at home. So I just kind of resigned myself to the fact that, okay, I got my battles laid out right in front of me. If I walk away from this right now, what am I? If I walk away from my hometown in the middle of drag queen story hour at the library, oh, and I spent all morning making phone calls to like my 3 council members, the mayor, the library, the executive director, the board of directors. So I made 15 phone calls today. Talked to some 2 very nice ladies with the 2 Republican commissioners. The Democrat mayor and the Democrat commissioner didn't even answer their phone. I got hung up on twice from the mayor's office without even getting a robot. And I'm sitting in the van thinking, all right, I'm resigned to the fact I'm stuck here. God has stuck me here for, I don't know how long or why, but here I am, right? I put the key in the van, I turn the key, and the van starts up. And I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. So here we are. We're stuck in Lancaster for a while. And we got some battles to fight here for right now. And as long as Freedom Corner's going on, we're going to still talk about Freedom Corner. But right now, federal government was my main priority for 2 years. Then all of a sudden the state comes after people here in my hometown. And in my hometown, though, the bottom falls out on that. So I'm always talking about how God lays that plan out for you day to day. I'm not going to make a long-term plan right now, but that's what I got to do right now. And we'll see how the van keeps running here. So, how you doing, Deb Freedom? Hello, Donna Ray. Cleo, good to have you. USA, Sean, all kinds of stuff happening in Chicago, bro. That Dave Bertram guy's heading to Chicago. He's filming all kinds of stuff there at the police station where the migrants are staying. We got O'Hare Airport, tons and tons of stuff happening in Chicago, Sean. I hope you're doing well. So we're just gonna make our way down to the city center here. So I called my Republican council members, and they have voiced opposition to the drag queen story hour. And I called them and told them how glad I was that they did that. And they had like human beings that answered the phone there, which was amazing. And I told them there will be opposition. There will be opposition. And the best case scenario would be that if this event got canceled, as elected officials, I don't believe that they can organize any opposition to that. MAGA is now the largest and most powerful political party in America. We will restore this country to its original status as a constitutional republic, as opposed to what the traitor Democrats have done. Here we got our guy Clay Higgins, man. Clay Higgins.
How you doing?
On the southern border, good, man. Our southern border is controlled by cartels. Criminals are ravaging our cities. We cannot afford groceries. The world is at war. We've abandoned our Sixth Amendment embassy, our sixth American embassy in 3 years. 300,000 Americans are dead from cartel drugs, and now Biden is pulling duty, honor, and country from the mission statement at West Point Academy. Totally outrageous, Patriots. Totally outrageous. So there's news. Okay, small water guys. So we gotta, yeah, I'm not worried about them either. They're entitled to be degenerates, you know. We can't like illegalize degeneracy, but when it comes time to our tax money, we do have a slight control over what we can do with that. And when drag queens want to influence our children in a public space that tax money goes for, I think we have a right to say something about that. Hey, Boomer, how are you? Alaska in the house. Yeah, Temp for Freedom. That sign back there was some artwork they put in here a while back, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm here at the Lancaster County Government Center. This is where I think our offices are here at the This is where I think the commissioners got their offices here. I'm going to show you what's going on here. This is a multi-million dollar project we just had. We've got poor Americans living in here. We're giving away money to the illegals. So yeah, Cleo, if we could get that shut down before it ever happens, that's what would be a best case scenario. That would save everybody a lot of time. These are homeless people here. There's been a problem here for a long time in Lancaster. There's a lot of homeless people here in Lancaster. And we have a lot of like churches that help out with that. And a lot of those churches are right down here in downtown, so during the day, when they're not serving a meal, this is where they hang out. Yeah, while old people live in cars. Exactly, Boomer. So here's the scene of the Lancaster Public Library right here. This is a huge complex that we just built here in Lancaster. It looks way better than it used to. And right now we are in the middle of this parking garage refinement. And they're putting up all these like multicolored bars. They're gonna cover that whole wall with these multicolored bars. Population of Lancaster, Colorado is, the county has close to 500,000 people here. Just some stats on the Drag Queen Story Hour. Apparently they have had 250 people sign up already for this event. And they're expecting that they each will bring at least one kid. So they're expecting 250 adults, 250 children, 500 people. So that is 1/10 of 1% of the entire population of the county, which is what the library serves. Tax dollar money for the county or for the city library here is 3%. We donate 3% of their entire budget to the executive director of the board of directors here. So she is going to cater to 1/10 of 1% of the population and risk 3% of her entire budget if people express opposition to it. And there has been a lot of opposition to it. Yeah, Cleo, 250 adults. And you know, we can't illegalize degeneracy. That's just not how America works. You are allowed to be an idiot. You are free to be an idiot in America. But when it comes to our tax money, I don't have to fund degeneracy. Yeah, the money spent on the illegals could have had all these people. We could have had a housing project somewhere, given these people a place to live. I can't imagine that this scene here is helping any of the businesses in this new district here, which are probably paying top dollar for their rents. It does appear that there is a shakedown going on this side of the road, because there's a lot of people on that side of the road right now, and this side is all cleaned out. This side had 30 people and their bags and clothing and stuff, 2 or 3 days ago when I was here. Yeah, we're gonna boycott it, Boomer. But I wanna shut it down before we have to boycott it. I'd like to share with you the article that was in today's paper. So far, our newspaper has given this Drag Queen Story Hour issue 2 days of front page coverage in their newspaper. Okay, this was yesterday's paper. Tensions for drag event at library. Commissioners get pushback. Support over online comments. Okay, so we got 2 commissioners out of 3 commissioners in this city. 2 of them have publicly spoken out, and what they did is they wrote a letter. And then they had a meeting. So I don't know how you were supposed to know that this meeting was occurring, but it did. There was 1 person there in support of the 2 people that opposed it, and a slew of the LGBTQIA plus community showed up against it. And here's one of those fine individuals right here. Meet Barry Russell. Barry Russell was among those who showed up at a Lancaster County Commissioners meeting Wednesday to protest the vocal opposition of Commissioners Josh Parsons and Ray DiAgostino to an upcoming Drag Queen Story Hour event at Lancaster Public Library. I am a gay man who is tired of all the vitriol and rhetoric, Russell said. So since he's tired of the vitriol and rhetoric, he feels that drag queens should be able to sit down with our children and read them stories in a public space. And Barry, you didn't have to tell me you were a gay man. I think I could have figured that out on my own. But as a gay man, you have a voice. Most at meeting defend the library's drag queen event. Polissa Mackey of Lancaster was among those who showed up at a Lancaster County Commissioners meeting Wednesday to protest the vocal opposition to the commissioners to an upcoming Drag Queen Story Hour at the event. I just don't know if he heard us, Mackey said. Well, gosh, I wonder why. Could it be you're wearing a mask on your face? Oh, here's another upstanding citizen. Declan Rupp of Lancaster attended the Lancaster County Commissioners meeting Wednesday to protest the vocal opposition of commissioners. I just basically wanted to stand up and say, you're wrong, Rupp said. And there you have another fine Lancaster citizen right there. Standing up. Yeah, that was yesterday's paper. Deep dive. The council members find a pervert. Okay, here we go. Today's headline. Front page of the newspaper. Interest in event soars. Record number of people sign on for library's Drag Story Hour. And here she is, the lovely Christopher Paolini, 38, of Berks County, performing as Miss Amy Vanity. Vanity, what a great quality to have, right? Everyone wants to be vain. Reads a book during a Drag Queen Story Hour. In this unrelated photo, Paolini is scheduled to lead a story hour at the Lancaster Public Library on March 23rd. Well, she looks happy and friendly. What could go wrong, right, Patriots? What could go wrong? With the colorful dress, an acoustic guitar, and a repertoire channeling Liza Minnelli and other Broadway greats, Miss Amy Vanity is not shy. But to Christopher Paolini, the 38-year-old from Berks County who created the Miss Amy persona more than 20 years ago, the level of attention he's receiving might unnerve even an experienced stage performer. Quote, "I'm astonished that it's getting the feedback it's getting," said Paolini, who is scheduled to host Drag Queen Story Hour, an event for young children, March 23rd at Lancaster Public Library. So, Miss Amy Vanity is astonished that it's getting the feedback it's getting. The feedback has included criticism from public officials. Kicked off with social media posts from Lancaster County's 2 Republican commissioners last week, and it's produced an outpouring of support for the event by people who attend Wednesday commissioners meeting to make their support known. So gosh, I wish I would have known about the Wednesday meeting, because I definitely would have been there. Christopher Polini of Berks County talks Wednesday about his drag queen persona, Miss Amy Vanity, and how the performance is age appropriate for children outside Lancaster Central Market. Critics, led by Lancaster County's 2 Republicans, say the planned event is inappropriate for children and should not be hosted at a publicly funded venue. So here's the guy. So this person also does adult comedy shows, apparently. And County Commissioner Josh Parsons and Ray Diacastino pointed to Polini's performances for adults-only audiences to argue he shouldn't be allowed to perform for children in a public space. At Wednesday's meeting, Diagostino said children may search for more information about Polini and the Miss Amy character online, which could expose them to his adult-themed performances. But Polini said adult-oriented drag shows he's hosted tend to be more about comedy and having a good time. The Children's Story Hour events are totally different and involve reading stories, dancing, and singing songs with themes of love, acceptance, and respect. And growing up in a musical family, Polini said Drag Queen Story Hour is also a way to honor his grandparents, whom he said loved him unconditionally and supported his creative pursuits. I just kind of wanted to take what my grandparents taught me growing up about being kind and loving everybody for who they are, he said. Polini said he understands that some people think that drag shows have a sexual undertone and agreed that some of them do. But drag, like many art forms, is flexible. I'm on a rant, Pathfinder. It's a beautiful art form that can be anything you want it to be. I feel like drag, while it was very much kept underground for years and years and years, it was a safe space for our community to gather and enjoy themselves and have camaraderie, Polini said. Now those shows are out in the public, and that's a good thing. But it's a learning process for people too. Polini said he hopes that the child-oriented events help foster an atmosphere of acceptance for LGBTQ plus people. To him, that's not grooming, a word critics of the event misuse to imply performers are attempting to abuse children or expose them to adults-only topics. Rather, it's simply teaching children that there's nothing wrong with being different. This newspaper is absolute garbage, man. Amy Vanity continues. Just being in a space where someone is entertaining them and they're having a good time is all they really care about. And then I've had older children who do ask questions and they're like, okay, that is a boy in a dress, okay. And they don't really care. So this guy's a mind reader. He can read what people are thinking. He thinks we got children being exposed to a dude in a dress. But Polini says they don't care. They say, hey, that's a dude in a dress, but they don't care. So he's a mind reader. He can tell what people are thinking. And this isn't grooming, a word that us critics misuse to imply that performers are attempting to abuse children or expose them to adults-only topics. Okay, we're not claiming that they're abusing children at these events. No, they're reading them a story and singing happy songs with their parents involved, but they are exposing them to degeneracy. So if you go on this guy's website, it's vulgar. It's very vulgar. And the two Republican commissioners went to the website and recorded some of it and showed it to the people at this meeting. And the newspaper verified that, yep, that's that's on there. You know, that's on there. Oh, drag queen kings exist too. All right, so let's not forget the little plus at the end there, LGBTQ. So I'm going to go in the library tomorrow when I missed it. It's closed now. I know what L stands for: lesbian, gay, bi, trans, Q, and then the plus. What does the plus stand for? That's what I want to ask the people in the library, because I think that hits the nail on the head once you tell me what that plus means. All right. So it's not grooming, according to the drag queen. It's not grooming. But it is, whether or not Amy Vanity agrees, it is exposing them to adults-only topics. Because when the kid goes, "Mommy, why is that guy wearing a dress? Why is he acting like a woman? Why is he dressing up like that and pretending he's something he's not?" Now you got to get into an adults-only topic, right? You can't just go, "Oh, it's because he feels like it." Kids want an explanation. Kids always sit there and go, "Well, why?" "Well, the man just wants to wear a dress." "Well, why?" Because he likes pretty clothing." "Well, why? Why doesn't Daddy like pretty clothing?" You see, it's exposure to an adults-only topic. This doesn't have any room around our children. And we can't illegalize it. This is America. You are entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But there's got to be a limit to what they can use our tax money to do, all right? For me to fund that with my taxes, and then demand that I pay taxes and take my taxes and do that with it, that's where it's one step over the line. If they want to rent out a church somewhere and do this in a church, okay, the people of that church has a right to decide if that's okay with them. And if it is okay with them, fine. If somebody wants to invite them over to the backyard of their house and do this at their backyard, that's fine. We can't make a law against it. It is still degenerate. I still don't agree with it. But I'm free to disagree with that. Maybe Daddy does like the pretty clothing. Well, Pathfinder, these parents are exposing their children to telling them that just be who you are. You know, that's the message here. That's right. How many kids are going to want to do that then? Well, is it okay if I put a dress on, Dad? You know, and I guess to some dads that's okay if they don't want grandkids and stuff. Okay, D'Agostino had a different perspective on the event. So far, the whole front half of the letter has been dedicated to explaining what this guy, explaining what his philosophies are, okay? Fine. Even the front page for the second day in a row here in Lancaster. The Republican representative, D'Agostino, had a different perspective on the event. In a formal letter emailed to top Lancaster Public Library staff, he said the Story Hour promotes hypersexualization and drag. I agree. In his letter, D'Agostino explained that the TV shows such as the 1980 sitcom Bosom Buddies and movies like the 1982 romantic comedy Tootsie, starring Dustin Hoffman, and the 1993 comedy Mrs. Doubtfire, featuring Robin Williams, are not sexual in nature, but entertainment like that should not be confused with the performances of drag queens. I thought Mrs. Doubtfire was weird. I didn't go watch that movie. I didn't like Tootsie. I thought that was gay. I didn't like that. I'm not gay. I didn't like it. I didn't go watch it. I think it was degenerate back then, but in today's culture, we've been pre-programmed to accept this junk. DeAgostino and Parsons, the other Republican guy, shared images at Wednesday's meeting of Facebook posts promoting an adults-only drag queen story hour featuring Miss Amy held at a bar in Berks County. He criticized language and images used to advertise that event. Lancaster newspaper has confirmed the images are genuine. Okay, so our elected Republican leader might have been lying, but if not for the newspaper verifying it, he wasn't lying. DeAgostino didn't respond to a reporter's request for comment Thursday because you're a junk newspaper and you would have lied about it anyways and distorted what he said. That's why no Republicans comment to this paper anymore. That's why the editorial section is all regurgitated left-wing garbage. We have no alternative to a newspaper in this area, though, a local newspaper. In his letter to the library Monday, he said that as a public official, he must protect the health and welfare of Lancaster County citizens. He told the library to cancel the event. And to be clear, he wrote, I don't want Lancaster County's tax dollars funding an organization that hosts such an event. That sentence set off a wave of concern among library leaders, Holland said. Okay, Holland is this wonderful woman. Look at her. This is the executive director of the Lancaster City Library. County commissioners have some control over funding for the Lancaster County Library System, which provides about $77,000 annually to the Lancaster Public Library. So we got a whole library system here, but just to this one library in this county, taxpayers give $77,000 to it annually. So that's just about 3% of the Lancaster Public Library's annual budget. Most of its annual revenue comes from fundraising, but losing the county funds and access to IT and other services would be significant. All right, I'm computer illiterate, so I don't know what IT means. Capital I, capital T. Okay, and that correlates to another sentence earlier that said, the event paid for and arranged by Lancaster Pride is just one of 105 children's programs of the library's calendar since last June. So there are many, many other programs here. There's 105 other kids programs. There's just baby story hour. There's just regular story hour. And that this one was paid for and arranged by Lancaster Pride. So if Lancaster Pride gave more than $77,000 to do this, I guess that would make a professional decision rational. But unless they're given that amount of money, it would be an irrational decision to allow them to piss off all the people that are donating all that $77,000. It potentially would hurt all 14 independent public libraries in Lancaster County, she said. She noted that the county commissioners threatened to end the county's contract with the Lancaster YWCA after one of its staff made a public comment urging the commissioners not to approve the county's single mail ballot drop box in 2022. A year later, the contract was taken away from the organization and awarded to a Bucks County nonprofit. So good job, man. You got people that were speaking out, that were receiving funds on drop boxes for the voting, which we found out all the illegal stuff that happened on that. So we couldn't do ballot stuffing here. And they took the funding from the YWCA here. Let them get their money from other people if they want to have these radical opinions, man. $77,000 is only 3%, Colorado. The rest of it is fundraising. We have a great community here that donates tons and tons of money, man. A lot of these homeless people that are getting fed by private money, not tax money. IT is technical resources for fixing computers. Okay, all right. Across the country, drag shows have faced 161 protests and significant threats since 2022, according to the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. Many of those involve drag queen story hours for children. False rhetoric was deployed against performers in campaign ads for the 2022 midterm elections, and rhetoric escalated to violence, including the firebombing of a Tulsa donut shop that hosted a drag event in October 22. The LGBTQ plus advocacy group states Equality Texas documented additional targeted events throughout the year, including an armed demonstration and confrontation in San Antonio. So there was one act of violence where a place got firebombed, a donut shop got firebombed after holding a drag queen story. And I don't agree with that. I mean, that's lame. But was that really opposition people, or was that their own people firebombing a donut shop to make it look like they're being hated on? I mean, that happens all the time too there. Participation in anti-drag incidents in 2023 has included the Proud Boys, white supremacists, and religious extremists, the group states. It might have been just regular people too, and this is just a jaded group that is calling them all white supremacists and religious extremists. In Pennsylvania, as early as 2019, a drag queen story hour in Montgomery County sparked a backlash, setting up a now familiar dynamic. Protests, heightened support, and conversations that often fall along partisan political lines. Polini got pushed back to a Miss Amy performance in 2022, but a planned story hour was held at a WYMCA in Hanover. So there's good old WYMCA there. 2 drag queens performed at a coffee shop amid some protest in January. Even Philadelphia's Independence Hall, where the nation's founders debated the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, has hosted Drag Queen Story Hour. Wow. I think you can go there and do anything. It's a public park outside of that Independence Hall there. Well, we felt it is the right thing to do, she said. It's one program. It's not going to change the world, but it lets people know that they are welcome here, and hopefully they will come and make use of some of our other resources. So we got a totally jaded newspaper here, man. All right, and finishing up with this topic. Am I boring you guys? We're not extreme, Colorado. I mean, I would consider Miss Amy Vanity extreme. She dresses up or he dresses up in women's clothing, puts wigs on, makeup, and wants to influence children to do the same, apparently. That's radical. I'm just a guy. I act like a guy. I'm not trying to not act like what I am. You know, I'm not fake. Grit? I remember Grit. Right, Kay. If you want to be gay. Fine. I'm not gay and I got a lot of reasons why I'm not gay. You can have a lot of reasons, or somebody can have a lot of reasons why they are gay. I don't really care. It's freedom. That's what that's called. And that's what America is all about. It's okay to be gay at the YMCA. All right. So the Proud Boys have shut down some drag stories. Yeah, Cleo, you say, I guess I am an extremist. But now, once again, we're using their pronouns. We're required to use their terminology. We aren't extreme, Cleo. We are not extreme. We're just patriotic Americans, like Americans have been for hundreds of years. Yeah, the newspaper said that we're extreme. I think they're extreme. I'm in Lancaster right now, Walter. Right there's the library. On March 23rd, this event is going to be here. I called 3 commissioners and the mayor and told them there will be a protest, and I'm here right now to show them that I'm serious about what I'm talking about. There will be something out in front of this library on that day if it is not canceled before then. And I think I might be here every day at 4 to 5 o'clock if anyone wants to show up. I don't see why we got to wait till the day. Okay, so now in the paper, I skipped over some stuff, but let me find this one part that I want to read to you. Okay, so the library, which has about 58,000 cardholders, is bracing for high turnout and potential fallout. After the commissioners said they don't believe a drag queen's event for children is appropriate, many who share their view called, emailed, and posted online to criticize the library for hosting it, as they should. Supporters of the event, meanwhile, are planning to provide a visual barrier between potential protesters and families walking into the building. All right, so they're going to get their little rainbow umbrella flags, and they're going to all hold up their rainbow umbrella flags so that the people can be protected from extreme people as they go in. Now, here's what I believe. There's going to be children there. So I don't believe that we should act irrational. I don't think we should be screaming and yelling at people. I don't believe that we should be vulgar in any means. Let's not become the wicked. Let's not be, oh man, what was that saying? Let's not become wicked doing this. But I think if we just stand in opposition to it, our numbers show that we don't agree with it. I would like the suicide rate of the LGBTQIA community to be investigated and looked at. I mean, the percentage that they are of this population, and they have an extremely high suicide rate. I think something's up with that. And I'll tell you what it is. It's the fact that they are lying to themselves, okay? They are trying to act opposite of what God intended. So, yeah, a lot of them end up committing suicide, and that is a travesty. It is not ever a good thing if somebody commits suicide. It's a horrible thing. So in order to avoid suicide, I would suggest you don't be gay. You don't be LGBTQIA or plus, because it results in a high rate of suicide. Just for that reason alone. But I don't think we should come out here and look like buffoons in front of children, you know. The children don't understand what's going on. Their mom and their dad are taking them here. Let the kids come here and have a good day hearing a story from a weird dude in a dress, you know. But our issue isn't with the children. Our issue is not with the parents that are bringing them here. Our issue is not with Amy Vanity coming here and doing that. Our issue is with the executive director of this library, and with the people who are in charge of where our tax money goes. I think that is really the only topic here that can be addressed. And there's no way that you can explain that to a child. So just by being here, our presence here will be the opposition. That's it. So I don't know, man. Walter White, people aren't standing up. There's sleepy Americans. They're still not waking up. There probably won't be too many of them, but I'll be here. I'll be able to sleep with myself knowing that I stood up against this degeneracy and this misappropriation of our tax money. Right, some of the Proud Boys are in prison for long periods of time, man. Outrageous period of times. Okay, the library is open, and they have many other events that they have here. So it looks like this is the first time they're having a drag queen story hour here in Lancaster. And every Monday at 4 o'clock, they also have this other event called the LGBTQIA plus Supportive Space Initiative. So I would like to get here early enough to go inside and ask them what exactly is that. So they've been having some type of event here for the LGBTQIA plus community inside the library here. So what I want to know, is that a grooming event every Monday taking place in here? It just isn't up on the radar of anybody that does anything here. And they have 105 other programs that they do here for all kinds of different people, teenagers, children, babies, mothers, parents, retired people, business owners. It does say that this event was paid for and organized by the Lancaster Alliance of Gay People or something like that. So there is money involved here. They gave money to be able to hold this event here, it appears. And they helped orchestrate the organization of it. All right, so I got a list of phone numbers. I don't know if you guys want to call them any of these numbers. The Lancaster Public Library phone number is 717-394-2651. And that phone just goes to a nice lady who answers the phone that works here. So be nice to her. Lisa Holland is the executive director. When you call that phone number, you will be given a chance to hit an extension number. Her extension is 2130. And I'll give that number again here shortly. I was trying to find the directory. There's 15 people on the board of directors at this library. I wanted every single one of them's name and extension number, but I can't find that published anywhere on the public library stuff. It wasn't in the newspaper. I tried to Google that stuff, and I got the library's web page or something. But there's Facebook stuff, and there's other stuff that I can't get access to. When maybe those lists are on Facebook or Twitch or whatever all the other things are that I'm not signed up to be in. All right, so here's that phone number again. Lancaster Public Library, 717-394-2651. Lisa Holland, Lissa, Lisa Holland. Her extension is 2130. That is the executive director. That is the person out of the whole board of directors. If you're going to make one phone call, it should be to her. It's not a smart move to cater to 0.01% of the people in this county and put 3% of your whole budget at risk. I mean, that's just a business decision. I don't know, Tina. I don't know if these board members are elected or appointed. Pert, you can go back and watch this video after we're done with it. You can go back and find this. And you can go back and find the chat also. Can't rewind the chat. Okay, I'll repeat it though. I'll repeat it. Lancaster Public Library phone number 717-394-2651. Lisa Holland, Executive Director, extension 2130. Voter Services. Okay, thanks, Deb. Now we can post it for people that don't get in the chat. When they come back and look at this video, that will be posted on the video now at this point. So we're at like timestamp 56 minutes in. Wow. All right. I'll look into that, Pert. I'm not sure what rewinding thing we're talking about here. Thank you, Deb, for freedom. Teamwork, baby. Teamwork. I love it. Okay, and then here's another little set of information. The Lancaster County Government Center, which is that building that we walked past earlier here, or showed you the sign. This is where all the offices are in the, like right there here in this building. This is where the mayor's office is, and this is where the 3 commissioners are. And that phone number is 717-299-8000. So we have 2 Republican commissioners here. All right, Deb for Freedom. I'll look into that. I'm not sure where that setting is, but I'll try to get it so you can rewind. So you want to be able to rewind it while it's live. Is that what it is? Okay. I'll look into that. Okay. So we have 2 Republican commissioners, and we have a 3rd commissioner. There's 3 commissioners, and the 3rd one is a Democrat, and that's recent. It used to be all 3 were Republicans, and we also have a Democrat mayor in Lancaster City too. So I called the mayor, and then I called all 3 of those commissioners today. Yeah, Cindy, I'll look into that setting before we go live tomorrow. Those commissioners is Ray DiAgostino, Josh Parsons, Amy I don't know what Yoder. Yoder is the Democrat. She is, I don't know what her first name is. And the mayor's name I can't pronounce. It's Daneen Sirachi or something like that. It's a goofy name. All right, Cindy. Well, then I need to talk to Angelina. I saw you guys last night at Freedom Corner. Way to go, Cindy. Awesome, man. How many Patriots were there last night? All right, so I got some Freedom Corner notes, man. We could go over those real quick. All right, last night at Freedom Corner, there was a good crowd there last night. I counted 15 Patriots. That's at the end of the night. There was 15 of you that I could see there. That was awesome. First call of the night was Doug Wyatt. Doug Wyatt, he's a guy, we've only heard from him a couple of times. And it was a great phone call, man. He just got sentenced to 46 months. This was his first charge, I think, ever. And then he went on to talk about how his daughter, his family is affected by all this. He's a guy from Maryland. He saw all the evidence of the ballot stuffing. He saw all the evidence of them taking Trump off of social media. He was thinking a rigged election just occurred and went to decide to go to D.C. to protest. Wound up getting caught up in the fray. I don't know what he did. I don't think he went in there and beat anybody up. I know he didn't kill anybody because no cops died. I really haven't heard of any severe injuries that any cop has endured, Most of the injuries was getting hit with an aluminum flagpole while they were wearing body armor. So, I don't know what's up with that. It was a failed attempt at defending the Capitol, that's for sure. The police retreated several times. I don't remember the police ever retreating on anything in D.C. So they decided to sentence Doug Wyatt to 46 months in prison. He says the mail-in ballots are a problem. No doubt about it. Look at all the fraud that just occurred with that. Then you got the post office in the middle of your elections. Are they? They're a government agency. So if you got a government job, you're not even allowed to work in an election, in an election polling place. You've got to quit. So how can we have a government agency right in the middle of the whole election? It's not legal or lawful or whatever the word is, right? And Doug Wyatt, man, he just wants to see his family, man. He spent 5 days in solitary, he said, when he first got to D.C. in February. He just wants to know what really happened on J6, and we got all kinds of information about that. I mean, hours and hours and hours of videos on what really happened at J6, and there's still new information coming out pretty much weekly. Now we're finding out that the CIA had people in D.C. for that event. They were somehow involved with the pipe bombs farce that they did. Yeah, Cindy, we'll try to get down there one of these days. The van's working now. I'm just going to let it go a couple days and make sure it starts up every time I get in it. But I was saying earlier in the video how God lays out a plan for you, and it looks like I'm here for a little bit now. There's many battles right in my backyard here that need to be paid attention to. But Freedom Corner must go on. If anything threatens that, I'll be there for sure. Well, Wyatt, I think, is going to get moved here shortly, Tina, because he has just been sentenced, and he did say something about that. He hopes to get sentenced or moved to a prison near where his family would be able to visit him, and he is expecting to be moved now that his trial is done and his sentencing is over. So we'll have to wait and see if he's still there when you have the vigil, though. Yeah, he was a great conversationalist. It was really awesome hearing him talk, and easy to understand what he was talking about. He just misses his family, man. He loves his country, and he misses his family. It's a heart-wrenching story for every single one of these J6ers, man. Another one. So now we're looking at almost 1,000 years of jail time for a 6-hour delay. Six-hour delay of Congress, 1,000 hours of jail time at what, $400 a day. So we're looking at an event that's costing us taxpayers over $100 million altogether to incarcerate these men for 1,000 years and prosecute them. And I gotta wonder when America's gonna say, wait a minute, this isn't making any sense anymore, you know? Oh, the family. Okay. All right, I'll try to put that out there. Yeah, it would be cool to hear from them, man. Oh no, Sapphire, it's starting to rain in DC. Yes, magnets work in water, Pert. What does that have to do with anything? Pert, you're out there, buddy. You're out there, man. So the second phone call came in from Chris Quaglin last night, and he went over some of his issues with, he's going through a divorce right now. Again, he was on that topic, and he's wondering, why am I so dangerous? Why didn't they let me out of prison between the time I was arrested and the time my hearings and trials? There was no reason to hold him in prison, man. I think he had one drunk driving charge or something prior to this. He had a wife and a baby, a newborn baby at home at the time. He legally owned guns. They, raided his house and found guns. Well, you're allowed to own guns in America. That's all there is to it. Yeah, we had some bad storms in Ohio there, man. I hope you guys are all safe. When we were getting off the chat last night, it was sketchy, man. We had like golf ball size hail in parts of the country. So yeah, Chris was on that tirade again. We got a call from Dominic Box and James Grant together. Dominic was trying to figure out who the guy that got pushed off the Capitol wall was. He remembers seeing that footage, and I think we came down to it that the dude's name was Mark Vargo, but I might have misheard that. I'm not sure about who that guy was, but that's what they were talking about. All the other people that got injured and mistreated and probably prosecuted. That's what I think he was wondering, if that guy ended up getting charges or not. And then Jeff Sable got on at the end of the night, and they were talking about how in the prison they have detail duties where the jail has maintenance things that need to be done in the prison, and sometimes they will offer that to some of the inmates in order to make some commissary money. And I forget who he was calling in with, but it turns out that this guy needed the money in order to use the phone, So he decided to get on detail duty, and then it's been a while now and they haven't paid him yet. So, right away, Patriots right at Freedom Corner were dialing in $10, $20 for him on his commissary, so that at least he can talk to his family, for crying out loud. But here we got the DC Gulag reneging on their payments or being late on their payments to the people that help them out in the prison, man. I mean, if the inmates didn't do it, and I think it's wonderful that they do give the inmates a possibility to perform some type of work, because work is good for you, they would have to pay other people to come in and do it, which would be a major hassle, I'm sure. And it was just another form of torture. Work for us, and then we're not going to pay you. Derek Varga. That's what I thought so. And was he a policeman? Yeah, they get like 25, 15 and a quarter cents an hour. Wow, that's a lot, man. Dempsey was on with him. That's right. And Dempsey was the guy. He's out of money, man, and so he was doing work there at the prison, and now they won't pay him, and now he can't call his family up and stuff. Okay, Jane's okay, because that's who I was worried about. Jane. We were worried about Cherry's house. We were worried about Gator Girl. We were worried about David, Valentine. So many Ohio Patriots, man. And it was ripping through Ohio, man. I was looking at the Weather Channel and just some crazy wind patterns on that whole thing. It just doesn't look normal. And we've been getting chemtrails for 3 days before that. I think it takes a while to modify the weather that bad, man. Okay, that guy was not a cop. Derek Varga was not a cop. But I mean, he dropped 25, 30 feet. That was a fall. I thought when I first saw that was one of the first footages I saw of J6. I thought that was one of somebody who died, but he didn't die. Oh, 15 or 25 cents an hour. That's more like it, teen. Ohio Navy Mom and AJ are in Ohio, right? Yeah, Dempsey was the one needing money for the phone calls, right? Okay, and then also Jeff Sable was talking about precinctstrategy.com, and another one that he's talking about is tacticalcivics.com. These are ways that we need to get involved with our parties at where we live. You get an incredible amount of power, basically, when you become involved with the parties in your local areas. Okay, Sapphire, excellent. Oh, I didn't know Santa was in Ohio. And then it looked like everything blew north, so it didn't come over western PA much, because it looked like it was heading to Mags there, and it looked like it could have headed to DC if it followed any type of a normal weather pattern right there. All right, if anybody feels obligated or can afford this, David Dempsey needs some bucks, man. He's out of money right now. I think while we were on the corner, somebody said Jen, I think, said she gave him $10. I mean, she was on the phone. As soon as he said it, you could see her on the camera, got on the phone, and put $10 on his commissary, man. Awesome Patriots. I'd say the phone call tonight was Doug Wyatt, though, man. That was a guy. It's just heartbreaking what him and his family got to go through. Don't ever forget the effect on children this is having, man. It's crazy. Okay, now Precinct Strategy. I've checked both of these websites out. It is a way to get involved, and there is a process to it. It ain't like I can just go figure it out. I would need to sit down for a couple of hours and figure out how to get involved with the Republican Party. And up until Ronna McDaniel got fired, I had no desire to get involved with my Republican Party because I hated them as much as the Democrats here. But now that Ronna's gone and now that 60 heads at the top have rolled from the RNC, I'm going to make an attempt to get involved with my Republican Party. And Ridgeline, she's involved with her Republican Party already, and she was busting on me about not being involved with mine. So thanks for the peer pressure, Ridgeline. I agree with you. I am impressed with your ability to get involved with the Republican Party prior to Ronna McDaniel getting axed. Okay, that's Precinct Strategy, and then this is another website right here. Tactical Civics is another way to get involved. And just getting involved with your party isn't the only way. You can get involved with election boards. I think for right now, for this election, I'm going to go take a poll watcher class and volunteer to watch a poll somewhere, if they'll have me. I've caused my election boards a little trouble here in the past. So if they remember who I am, they might tell me to go beat it. I don't know. It's a long story. And it's a story I screwed up. I screwed up for sure. I could have been a judge of elections, and I declined it right before 2020. That was a dumb move on my part. All right, so could I get a time check? Are we looking? I need a time check, Patriots. I got other news here we can quick cover. We got this Boeing whistleblower, and I put my Columbo hat on this morning and decided to try to do some investigating on this John Barnett guy, who was a Boeing whistleblower, and he was found to have committed or found dead to an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. But I found some things that just weren't adding up with the story, and it was amazing how hard it was to get to the story. Okay, 6:20. All right, so I'm going to go another 20 minutes or so here, you guys. If you got something important, that's fine. But all right, I'll figure that out, Tina, when I go to the class. There was a class posted that I'm going to go to. Okay, the 917 Society? Okay, I never heard of that one, Sherry. Sapphire Patriot. The 917 Society are going into the schools and teaching the Constitution. What an awesome endeavor that is, man. All right, yeah, we got to get some food before we go visualizing. All right, Deb. Yeah, so, well, apparently, some of the news, I looked up like 5 different news articles. I found out how to look on Wikipedia. So the Wikipedia entry for John Barnett is being written as we speak, basically. And I just figured out how to use Wikipedia to reference where they get the information. It's very easy to Wikipedia is a good source, but you got to look at where they got their information. So basically, the whole Wikipedia article is written off of what newspapers and Time Magazine and things like that have written about this guy. It took me, all right, so I had to click on Wikipedia, one of the newspapers that they got a comment from, and then I had to go to that newspaper, a local newspaper, to finally find the police report that was filled out when they found this, got the complaint, man in a car with a gun, and realized he was dead, coroner called out, and the coroner report and all that. And I got to read all of that stuff today on this John Barnett guy. And it's just odd. In the police report, they redacted the names of witnesses that gave information, but the police were called in at about 10 o'clock. At about 10:15, it was determined that he was dead, and it appeared he had a gun in his hand with his finger on the trigger and a suicide note on the seat. But there's 2 things that don't add up, man. 3 things. He was supposed to go in and continue testifying. He had already testified 3 days, I think. And he was supposed to go in on a Saturday. They were continuing testimony on a Saturday in this case. First time I ever heard of a court working on a Saturday. And, no. And it appeared that his driver's license was not in his pocket. So he was late for court, and that's why the police were, the hotel was called. His lawyers called the hotel. The hotel went out and checked, saw the dude in the car, called the police, okay? But he was supposed to be at court, but he was in the truck as if he was ready to go, and the driver's license was in the hotel room still. So that's a little odd, right? The employee at the hotel said he heard a pop noise at 9:24 in the morning, but didn't think anything of it. And this guy's name is redacted on the police report. So it's odd that this guy can pinpoint the exact time he heard a pop noise, okay? And yeah, those are just some odd things about this whole story there. So then I started thinking, well, what could happen? What could have possibly happened, you know? And there's a lot of scenarios that could have happened, man. And that hotel employee seems to be right in the middle of everything there. So I don't know. Just thinking out loud here on that. Oh, Jane, all right. You're okay, Jane. We were worried about you last night. So I did see some of the devastation from those tornadoes, and it was horrible, man. So God bless you all. Praise the Lord, you guys are okay. So yeah, we'll find out what happens with that. We'll see if anybody, if more things come up in the police report. It is an ongoing story in the news right now, so sure there will be more on that in the future. He was, it isn't like he was just whistleblowing on the loose panel. I mean, this is a case that went back to 2019, man. The guy retired way back when. He was complaining about things that were, he was hired as a quality control guy, and then he was raising issues like, hey, quality control is not being met, and they ended up getting rid of him. So then he's suing Boeing because he shouldn't have been fired, but he's at retirement age anyways. So there's a whole bunch to the story on why it was in court right now, and it's way more complicated than I thought it was, man. All right, somebody posted something. The FBI is the Federal Blackmail Institute. I think that was the best new definition of what FBI means right now. Ted Cruz was questioning some FBI guy, like just nailing him to the wall. The guy would not answer questions, man. Absolutely. I'm like, arrest that man right now. He's sitting here just not answering, refusing to answer questions, man. And there's just so much out there. I could only pick a couple of things here to mention, man. It's time for relentless truth, patriots. If we know truth, relentless truth. Literally, got to grab people's ears and open their eyes and make them look at this stuff. I doubt they'll wake up. It's just up to us. We're awake. We know we're awake. I know you guys are awake. We're awake. We're the ones that got to do this now. It's our job to do it. Atheism is a non-profit organization. Get it? All right, I'm hearing stuff about a sovereign nation alliance right now. I think this is a story that's going to be generating here soon. So heads up for that. There's certain nations in the world that have resisted the World Economic Forum and corporate ownership on things. It's probably pretty much every nation that we are conditioned to believe our mortal enemies are. But it does appear that there is a conglomerate of nations now that are sovereign nations. You know, imagine that. We're all being sold on this globalism stuff. Okay, and then the other day, there was an intel leak that Netanyahu was weak in Israel, okay? And then the other day, Schumer gets up and says this whole anti-Israel tirade. FJB comes out and he's calling for a regime change in Israel. But FJB hasn't never said anything about a regime change in Gaza. So what's going on in Israel, patriots? Be ready to, I know we got a lot of Israel supporters in here, but just be ready. If new information comes out that shows you something is not right with Israel, belief is the enemy of knowledge, okay? The Israel that is a country over there is not the Israel that God is talking about. It is not Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, whose descendants were given the kingdom of Israel, who then God scattered throughout the earth. He salted the earth with them, okay? That's what the whole Old Testament is about. The Israel that is a country over there is not the same Israel that's in the Bible. So information about Israel is going to be coming out. And don't let your belief get in the way of knowing, okay? I'm always open to anything. I'll listen to any argument. But things are not what they seem. Things are not what they seem. Okay, then we got all these men and women's sports. Whatever happened to Title IX? You remember Title IX came out, and it was a thing that said colleges and universities have to spend as much money on women's sports as they do on men's sports. And that was a good decision, I think. My one daughter got a scholarship because of Title IX. But now transgendered men can be in women's sports. They are beating women, which causes women to not be ranked and categorized where they would be if there were no men in the women's sports. So really having a transgendered male in a woman's competition should be illegal according to Title IX, in my opinion. I don't get why nobody has stood up and said this yet, man. But it's just another crazy thing, man. I think we should address the suicide rate of gender-confused youth. All right, that was something I was talking about earlier when we were doing the library thing here. Well, Fickle Kid, I've seen you in there before, but I've also heard you're in other chats too there, Fickle Kid. And it's really weird you got somebody else's picture on your profile there. So I don't know, maybe you shouldn't tune into Freedom Corner, man. Okay, and now we're being everybody's telling us that we need to ban TikTok. Let's back up and think about this for a second, Patriots. The House of Representatives, all the problems in the world, all of a sudden the House of Representatives just almost unanimously came together and voted that the government should be able to make TikTok sell its shares to Americans 351 to 65 or some crazy majority like that, okay? Then we got Nancy Pelosi telling us it's a good idea, all right? And then we got to do this so that China can't control information out on the thing. But now let's consider what I've just been watching for the last year and a half was on my news feeds was red pill TikTok videos. So is it a possibility that TikTok has become more effective at red pilling people than Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, all of them combined? Because the government has no control over that site? So, I don't know, man. Facebook spent $400 and something million putting voter boxes in the cities to clear that last election, man. So maybe we're going to have to ban Facebook, and this TikTok bill will allow the government to come in and tell you have to sell your company. And it allows the government to have too much control on social media, man, legally. So I think call your senators. That's the call to action for today, is call your senators, whether they're Democrat or not. Let your phone call be a witness against them. Do not pass the TikTok bill. Close the border. Release the J6ers is what we really should be talking about right now. Those are the issues that are critical to my life right now here, okay? Don't let the government grab more power from us. And now the latest story was, if we pass the TikTok ban, it'll hurt Joe Biden. So now they're trying to talk us into it'll be a good thing. If you want to hurt Joe Biden, pass the TikTok bill. That's what the last article I just saw like 3 hours ago said, man. Yeah, I may not want to do that, but I will defend your right to say it. Amen. Hey, C for Freedom. Hello there. C for Freedom, are you in Florida? I'm under the impression you're down in Florida there. And there's a lot going on in Florida with the Haitian refugee thing going on down there. And we're looking for people on the ground in Florida just to keep an eye on what's going on down there. Apparently there's going to be a showdown between the Florida National Guard and the federal border control agents down there. So something's up with Haiti, with the immigrants coming in from Haiti. Yeah, the TikTok ban is not a good idea. It's like more government control, more government power. Okay, and then we had Kamala going to a Planned Parenthood for some reason. Then we got the Fanny debacle, and I guess the Wade dude is resigning from the case. The judge dropped 6 of the charges, and all kinds of irrelevant goofiness happening with that battle. I don't think I would spend any time looking into it at all. It will be what it will be. Right, the Florida State Guard is not national. Right, that's why there might be a showdown between the two, like in Texas, where we had the Texas National Guard at odds with the Border Patrol down there. Dan Crenshaw said federal U.S. intel agencies don't meddle in domestic news coverage. Bullshit. We've noticed that. I mean, there's hearings on that from the 70s. We know that's true. Anderson Cooper is a CIA agent, man, no doubt. All right, so wow, this was a long one, hour and a half. Holy cow, I didn't mean to go that long, but I was on a roll with the library thing. Hopefully they cancel this thing and we don't gotta make a scene or anything like that. I think we're gonna get rolling here, Patriots. I gotta drive home so we can get on the Freedom Corner chat and support our J6ers down at Freedom Corner in Washington, D.C., man. Thank you all for being here, Patriots. You guys are wonderful. It's a team effort, man. We got Deb for Freedom putting the posts up, or Silly for him when she's here. We got C for Freedom. We got Sapphire Patriot. Awesome. We can't do it without you. It's part of the team. I don't know why I'm in this position, but I am. I'm going to go with it, as we all are. As we all are, you know. So let's see what tomorrow brings, Patriots. Lord will lay out a plan. Pray to heaven, pray to God that we are successful in the defeat of our enemies. Be sure to support all your streamers if you like what I'm doing. Here is the post for that. All I got is a P.O. box. So I have gotten donations from you guys. I really appreciate that. It helps out a lot. And don't forget the Patriots down at Freedom Corner. I think they're the important ones, man. Make sure Freedom Corner keeps going on. Support forashley.com with Mickey and Tammy and Nicole down there. And let's keep getting the message out there, Patriots. God bless you all. I'll see you in the chats at Freedom Corner tonight. This is Jericho. Over and out.